Hi, it's Catherine Gordon. I'm grateful for the interest in my video, Carnivore Diet, Adding Back Vegetables. So I wanted to do an update. Over the holidays, and actually really starting in late October, there was a birthday celebration where I decided to try something that I usually don't eat. And yes, it contains sugar and grains and all of the things that don't agree with me. The negative reaction to what I ate was immediate. That night I had terrible leg cramps, and I don't think it was just a coincidence. I used to get leg cramps back before I eliminated most plants, almost all plants from my diet, and I have magnesium oil, which is a topical magnesium that you rub on, which was really helpful in the past for leg cramps and also for aching muscles after training. And fortunately I had that, so I was able to go and grab that magnesium oil, rub it on, walk it off, do some deep breathing, and I managed to get through that terrible experience of those leg cramps. But I'm actually grateful because that was in late October of last year. I have not taken back any sugar or any grains since because I have that really clear understanding that if I eat those foods, I'm really going to suffer physically with leg cramps. And if you've ever had them, you know they feel really, really awful. At that point, I definitely said, okay, I don't care if it's homemade, I don't care how delicious it is, I'm not going to eat it. But that doesn't cover the foods that I used to eat when I was following a whole food ketogenic diet. I overcame obesity back in 2008 with a whole food ketogenic diet, which included a lot of vegetables, some low sugar fruits, actually a whole lot of fibrous carbohydrates. And that worked way back in 2008, but it didn't work as I matured. In 2018, 10 years later, I went carnivore, animal-based diet, and it was really amazing. 2019 ended up being absolutely one of the best years of my life. But then 2020 hit, and I think that I used the pressure that we were all under in order to make an excuse for, well, I'm going to have some of these extra foods, I'm going to add them back because I deserve it and I'm under stress. Well, that was not helpful and that was not effective. And over this past year, I have been trying to get back to the wonderful way I felt in late 2018 and throughout 2019 when I was following a true animal-based diet. So I finally, after Thanksgiving meal, I tried to incorporate some carbohydrates that I used to be able to eat, low sugar fruits and high fiber vegetables. Didn't really go very well. I mean, I didn't break down, I didn't gain a bunch of weight, but wasn't feeling very well. And these were some of the symptoms that I was getting during that period where I had added back vegetables. I had moles that were growing again. I had skin tags come back. One of the worst things was what I'll call anhedonia, which is that the things that I enjoyed doing, I wasn't really enjoying anymore. I was having to force myself to practice my singing, practice my dance, practice my guitar. If I didn't have a guitar lesson or a dance lesson, I had a really tough time with self-motivation, even in the things that I've always loved to do. Of course, the leg cramps, the joint aches, all of these things, and the foul mood. So we're going back, if you've watched that other video, Carnivore Diet, Adding Back Vegetables, it's all the same stuff again. I had to learn that lesson again. So let's turn that around and let's talk about the benefits. So since I went ahead and went really animal-based, very clean animal-based diet about 6 weeks ago. Well, here's the story. So I hit my head. I was picking up the dog bowl and there was a wooden corner and I was trying to hurry because I wanted to take some pictures of a sunset. I know. So I was in a big hurry and this corner entered my skull and then pulled straight down. And it was, if you've ever had one of those wounds, they bleed. I put gauze on my head and then I put a hat on and I went and laid on the couch until my husband and my son came home and his girlfriend, and they all looked at it. I didn't want to look at it. I knew it was bleeding and they were like, oh gosh, does she need stitches? Gee, I don't know. Well, I didn't end up getting stitches. But what's crazy is I had this huge lump on my head. By the next morning, the lump was completely gone. It had disappeared. Bleeding had stopped. It was already starting to heal, but it was about this long. And it was amazing how fast that cut healed. It's like it just knit up and it was gone. And I just really I think it's my insulin sensitivity. I think it's my incredibly good health. And so that was one of the things that I noticed, is that quick healing. Once again, moles disappearing. I've got a little bit of a mark where I used to have a mole here and it was getting bigger and bigger. Cut the extra vegetables, the low sugar fruits, and now the mole is gone. My knees feel great, my fingers, my elbows. Oh, one of the biggest things that I was noticing when I added back some of the vegetables and some of the fruits is that my heel started to crack again. And that really concerns me, because years ago I read Sugar Crush by Dr. Richard Jacobi, and he talked about all of the symptoms that show that you've got insulin resistance and you're on your way to type 2 diabetes. Cracked heels, absolutely one of those cracked heels are absolutely one of those symptoms. I don't want to have that. I love to dance. My goal is to sing and dance forever. And so I really had to take action to get rid of the cracked heels. Also starting to have some peripheral numbness in my fingertips. Just can't have that. And what I find is when I just go ahead and pull the vegetables out, pull the fruits out, that those symptoms resolve. No cracked heels, none of the numbness, none of the burning and tingling in my feet. So what am I eating now? Well, here is what I call the animal-based diet paradox. Now that I eat an animal-based diet, I consume less of everything else, including meat. And here's why. So my daily menus are pretty much made up of eggs, full-fat dairy, fish, fowl, and some meat. Back when I was doing a whole food Atkins ketogenic diet, seriously, I was eating up to 14 ounces of meat every day. So I'd be having bacon in the morning, and then I have a significant serving of meat at lunch, and then a very significant serving of meat in the evening. Now, all I want is 2 meals a day. Just 2 meals a day. I eat an early meal and kind of a midday meal. I like to finish all of my eating by 2:30 in the afternoon. Eggs, full-fat dairy, fish, fowl, and then some red meat. And when I eliminate plants and I eliminate glucose, it literally drops my desire to consume. When I'm eating sugar and starches and even the fibrous vegetables and even the low sugar fruits, here's what happens. I want to eat, I want to surf the internet, and I want to shop. It's pretty amazing. It's like I don't want to do the productive, creative things that I love to do. I want to consume. I just want to sit back and just have experiences handed to me. And I believe that glucose and insulin, they get in the way of the dopamine signaling and my ability to feel good and to get that positive reaction from the things I love to do. And instead, the only thing that gets through is that kind of addictive pleasure response that I get from sugar and grains and glucose. I really was and really am, continue to be, a sugar addict. I actually call myself a glucose addict or a glucomaniac, because what I've noticed is that when I'm getting my energy from sugar sources and from glucose, everything just kind of goes wrong. I'm not motivated, I'm overeating, I'm over-consuming. But when I eat an animal-based diet, I'm eating less of everything, I'm consuming less of everything. The dresses and the clothing that I bought 12 years ago, when I reached a healthy weight, when I overcame overweight and obesity, I did a lot of shopping at that time when my body changed, and I just keep wearing those clothes. And that's another reason why I wanted to make this video, is to make the case that by eating the foods that are right for me, and possibly by eating the foods that are right for you, you will reduce your demand on the environment. I have decreased my desire to consume, and I've increased my motivation to create. You've probably heard me say, eat for yourself and practice what you love. But I think what I really want to say is eat what works. Because if you're eating the foods that nourish and satisfy you, you're going to be more productive, you're going to be happier, and you're actually going to end up consuming less. And what could possibly be wrong with that? Oh, by the way, there was some mention about my hair, and somebody had said, oh, you dyed your hair. And it's like, actually, no, I stopped dyeing my hair. I think that's another aspect of the way I feel on an animal-based diet. I just don't find it necessary to color my hair anymore, and it's coming in kind of a nice light gray. You can see the line right here, so it gives you an idea of how fast my hair is growing. It's a sense of acceptance. I accept the hair that I have. I accept the clothes that I have, the body that I have. So my ideal diet, which is an animal-based diet, gives me the energy and the motivation to do the things that I love. And whatever you decide to eat, whatever diet works for you, I hope that it gives you the energy and the motivation to do the things that you love as well. All right, until next time, be well, eat for yourself, practice what you love, and I'll see you back here soon.